Israel carried out a military strike on Iran early Friday. Iranian officials say that the strike hit a military airbase near the city of Isfahan in central Iran. The city is also home to several sites associated with Iran's nuclear program. And according to state media, the country's nuclear facilities were not damaged. Tehran has downplayed the incident. Debora Patta is in Jerusalem with the latest.
Flashes in the night sky. Among the few images posted on social media purportedly showing the Israeli attack on Iran. CBS News has learned that Israeli aircraft operating outside Iran fired a small number of missiles on the city of Isfahan after suppressing Syrian air defenses. Isfahan is where Iran has several nuclear facilities. The UN's top atomic energy body says none of them were damaged. For now, though, officials are mostly keeping their heads down and their mouths shut. Secretary of State Antony Blinken did not address the attack directly and would not be drawn on whether the U.S. had been given advance notice.
Again, I'm not going to speak to anything other than to say we were not involved in any offensive operations.
There's also been no official Israeli confirmation of the strike. Iran expert Menachem Merhavi believes that for now, Israel has had the last word.
Because the message was to the government in Iran, to the regime, we can reach you, you're not impregnable on the one hand, yet we do not look for more adventures on this front.
Iran also played down the attack. Nothing to see here was the official line. It was just our powerful air defense firing at a suspicious object, said General Siavash Mihandost. It caused no damage at all. Regime supporters chanting death to Israel mocked the attack, saying it was nothing special, just a bunch of small drones.
Merhavi told us the nature of the Israeli attack gives Iran enough space to walk away from this. He doesn't believe they will retaliate this time, and that for now at least, the playing field has been leveled. Lana?
All right, Debora Patta in Jerusalem. Thanks, Debora. For more, Weijia Jiang joins me now from the White House. So, Weijia, tell us more about their response to this.
Well, the White House is not saying anything about this, Lana. In fact, several administration officials, both publicly and privately, have simply said that the U.S. will not be commenting on this event. There was Secretary of State Antony Blinken. He had a press availability today, and he said that the only thing he would say is that the United States was not involved in the military operations, and that was the extent of it. He also went on to say that their focus, along with other G7 leaders, is de-escalation. And I did ask the White House press secretary today during the briefing if the reason why they are being so silent on this is because they believe that is the strategy to ensure de-escalation, to make sure that things are able to cool down and they don't want to interject. But Lana, we have to also remember that before this happened, President Biden urged Prime Minister Netanyahu to think carefully and strategically about responding. He was basically framing it as a win because the United States and Israel was able to deter 99% of the drones and missiles that Iran fired, and was trying to encourage Netanyahu to penalize Iran with diplomatic ways, such as sanctions, rather than a military act, because they were concerned and continued to be concerned about escalation. And so the fact that Israel did this anyway, Lana, shows another example of Prime Minister Netanyahu defying the advice from the U.S.
So, Weijia, is there a sense now at the White House that this is it, that this is a retaliation that Israel was going to take and that no more strikes should be expected?
Well, now the question is how Iran is going to respond. Remember, the foreign minister appeared on television here in the United States on a program just right before this retaliatory strike happened, and said if Israel does something and I think use the word, adventurous, then we would retaliate again and to a much larger degree than we did. And so the concern, Lana, is that there is going to be this tit for tat and this escalation. We don't really know what's going to happen yet. We don't really know yet because the Israelis have not publicly commented about the strike last night, and neither has the U.S., except to say they weren't involved. So it is a space that I think so many people are carefully watching because, again, it really depends on these two parties now. I will say that this was a much more limited scope, especially compared to what Iran did. So perhaps this was a way for Israel to say we answered without escalating as much as they could have. But we are waiting to hear more, certainly, from this administration and from the Israelis.
All right. Weijia Jiang outside of the White House. Thank you, Weijia.
Sure.